Hey there, welcome to Fun Learn Talks, the podcast where we break down business, technology, and history into stories that sparks your mind and makes you smarter. I'm Anu, and we explore ideas that shaped the world from empires and entrepreneurs to code and culture. If you love connecting dots and asking why things are the way they are, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's story. Have you ever wondered how the foods we love came into being, or the struggles their creators faced? Let's go back to the 1860s when two brothers, Richard and George, were grappling with the weight of their inheritance, teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. It's a tale not just of sweets, but of sweat, and how the very brink of failure spurred incredible innovation. The year was 1861, and Richard and George watched as their funds dwindled alarmingly. With losses mounting to £226 for each brother, the spectre of financial ruin loomed large. Rather than the comfort of inherited wealth, they faced a stark reality: tighten the belts or sink. Sacrifices were immediate and personal. From the luxury of tea and newspapers to the basics of decent meals, which were replaced by mere bread and butter eaten hurriedly at the factory. Perhaps it was these hardships that sharpened their focus. George, with an eye for purchasing, policy, and development, embraced his role, while Richard tackled the equally daunting task of sales. Their days stretched from the crack of dawn well into the night, a relentless cycle that their colleague later described as a stern martyrdom of the senses. This wasn't just cost cutting, it was a near monastic stripping back of life's pleasures in pursuit of a singular goal. In this sparse world they created, every small victory was savored. Dixon Hathaway, their northern traveler, brought rare moments of levity to the office. His visits were marked as red letter days, his thick Scotch accent and old war coat becoming symbols of resilience and endurance. As Richard joined Hathaway on sales rounds, he expanded the sales team, determined to cover more ground. He sent Samuel Gordon to Liverpool and Manchester and John Clark to tackle southern England, though Clark quickly found London a tough nut to crack. Despite the setbacks, Richard's letters to his staff were filled with encouragement, urging them to persist and promising support regardless of the outcome. George, not to be outdone, also hit the road, leaving behind a young wife who wrote with yearning of his return. Such personal sacrifices underscored the brothers' commitment not just to their business but to each other and their shared vision. By 1862, the necessity for more hands became apparent, and the brothers hired additional staff. William Tallis, a promising young worker with little formal education, and George Truman, their first clerk, joined a team that often worked late into the night. Truman, though inexperienced in sales, threw himself into the role, generously offering samples to potential customers. This chapter in the lives of Richard and George isn't just a story about the struggle for financial viability. It's about the resilience required to build something lasting. It's about how personal sacrifice, relentless work, and a refusal to give up in the face of overwhelming odds can sometimes, not always, but sometimes, lead to extraordinary outcomes. In their case, it led to the creation of products that would one day be celebrated as a beloved part of culinary history. Adversity, it seems, was not just an obstacle, but a crucial ingredient in their recipe for success. So, the next time you indulge in a treat, remember the journey of those who made it possible, marked not just by sweetness, but by an enduring spirit to overcome the bitterest of times. Let's dive back in as Richard Cadbury finds himself nestled in the middle of a delicious conundrum. Imagine this: samples of your cocoa products are vanishing right under your nose because they're irresistible. But here comes the ingenious solution: introducing pledge money. Picture the scene: workers vying not just for their wages, but for that shiny extra penny at day's end, a sweet reward for resisting the sweet treats. It's enough to buy a new pair of boots every quarter. Now, isn't that intriguing? Stay with me. But the real challenges were just beyond the factory walls. Despite their tantalizing array of products, the public's enthusiasm for Iceland moss waned rapidly. The brothers didn't lose heart though. They continued their quest for the perfect brew, ushering in a parade of new products: breakfast cocoa, pearl cocoa, and let's not forget chocolate domestique, adding a dash of exotic flavor with spiced vanilla. Yet, with all these varieties, the Birmingham crowd seemed unenthused, a puzzle yet to be solved by the Cadburys. Richard, never one to sit back, pushed boundaries and exhibited their products vigorously, from the bustling Crystal Palace to the Manchester Corn Exchange. Despite these spirited attempts, the results were lackluster. It was as if something vital was missing, a certain je ne sais quoi that left their chocolate dreams in doubt. But as we delve deeper, it becomes clearer that their approach, though innovative, was steeped in tradition. Too much tradition, perhaps. Cocoa had been savored as a drink for centuries, and by clinging to this age old habit, the Cadburys might just be limiting themselves. As we peel away the layers of this chocolate tin, we reach a more personal chapter of Richard Cadbury's life. Picture a man with a boundless fascination for the exotic origins of his beloved cocoa. Like many Victorians at the time, Richard was captivated by foreign cultures and histories. Though anchored by his duties in England, his imagination roamed free. He dreamt of South American rivers and untrodden forests, the very cradle of the cocoa bean, fueling his passion for crafting the perfect chocolate experience. And so, Richard immersed himself in the stories brought by travelers. Each anecdote, each snippet of exploration added to his deep reservoir of inspiration. There's a sense of romance in how he approached his craft, isn't there? What's surprising is that despite the rich tapestry of tales and heritage, Richard's feet had never touched the soils of a cocoa plantation. Yet, these vicarious adventures were his gateway, a means to traverse the globe from his factory in England. They shaped his vision and perhaps hinted at what he might bring to the world of chocolate next. So, reflect on this for a moment. How often do we embrace the familiar instead of daring to redefine it? Richard Cadbury's journey with cocoa makes us ponder this very question, urging us to think beyond the conventional, to invent and reinvent. As we continue on this tasty narrative, remember that each piece of chocolate you enjoy is not just a treat, but a blend of history, culture, and countless stories of trial and error. How will Richard Cadbury's story unfold further? Stay tuned. The best, or perhaps the most delicious part, is yet to come. Let's keep going. That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.